idea of using real estate to get all the money in Lagos State will kill the sector. Getting from land permits to layouts, I've been told that about 170 real estates are on the point of selling up, and I've engaged them. As Professor Nubi has said, they engaged them. And they have told me that a good number of you people refuse to do layouts. So I went back to those people that they said did not do layout. And they told me that the cost of the layout is so much. How much are we going to sell the houses? So the government is not in the business of helping us to make housing affordable. So the critical problem facing Nigeria today, critical problem facing Nigeria today is the problem of housing affordability. We have the housing standing in Abuja, we have the standing in Lagos, and you developers are looking for buyers. The people that need the houses cannot afford it. I told my staff to go to Mabushi under the bridge. I told them to go to Maralaba under the bridge and confirm to me whether there are people living there. I've come to tell you that we have landlords under the bridges in Abuja now, and they are collecting 15,000 a year. How do we continue with this? I therefore want to use this opportunity to call on the government. And also call on Reda. Professor Nibi is working on certification. Thank you. To be current is a currency of life. Developer, you can't perform well if you don't know the latest innovation. You must innovate. You must collaborate. That is the way to go. But come, Reda. Professor Nubi mentioned how we started the journey. I was with you. The founder says we want to professionalize the real estate business in Nigeria. So I mean, you are addressing me as a barrister. I'll be addressing as buyer, as doctor, estate developer, ESD, Tony Aspire. But we can't do that today. Where is our bill in National Assembly for main government to recognize us? We are in a critical period. That when I introduce myself, I'm into real estate. People are looking at me whether I'm a criminal. They have not known me before. And you want me to fold my hands for a sector we have been promoting for over 20 years that are producing. We should be celebrating the young people we are seeing here. Me and you are on our way out. You are both 60. I'm approaching 60. We are getting people to hand over. But we have to hand over very well. We have to professionalize it. Without professionalizing it, all these problems we are discussing here cannot be solved. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause for Barrister Festus. Thank you so much, sir. That was from your heart. Thank you, thank you. And I know that every word that you have said here will have impact. It will not just, of course, go in vain. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking from your heart. Joining the panel, please celebrate with me the National Secretary, Reda National, and the MD Roller Properties Limited, Dr. Dotun Oloyede. Please celebrate him with me. He joined us on the panel. You're very welcome, sir. I'd like to throw this question to Damola because you're a seasoned real estate professional. You've heard from Barrister Evelyn and how she mentioned that the process is tedious. I think I was talking to my lawyer friend this morning who is also into property law. And she told me how that she has been trying to get a building permit for over 3 years. She's been on it. And as a matter of fact, you have to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody to get out the approval as quickly as you can. What has your experience been? Share with us, lay it there. How has it been for you? Did you have to grease palm to get permission? How has it been for you?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Reda, for having me here. The reality is that I think Mr. Adebayo, first of Adebayo, mentor and father here has also spoken about it, and same with my sister. The experience is the same. I think that's where we just need to all align with. But why is it that way? Maybe that's the question we should ask ourselves. You know, what level of engagement do we have with government to help? Government needs help. That's the reality. Government is not a body that has all the knowledge on how things should work. If we don't talk to government, government cannot understand what the real issues are. All right, and we need to put this information out there so that government also knows that some of their shortcomings and the reason why the industry is still where it is. You know, I don't think anybody in their right senses who knows someone has taken a loan to build a project, come there, seal up the place, and leave the place closed for months. You know, the only reason you can choose to that is you want to kill that business. You know, so I think we need to engage at a higher level, and that engagement needs to come with clear resolutions on what to do. You know, I also think brothers and sisters in the legal profession, we need to test some of these things in the court of law. You know, what gives the right of government to do certain things? You know, who do we have recourse to when some of these things happen? You know, so I think the experience has all been the same. But more importantly, government is not an absolute perfect system. We also need to understand how to engage with them so that we can make this process seamless and better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, let's celebrate him. Thank you very much, Nana, for that answer. I'll come to you now, Mr. Adigwe. I'll come to you. I was making my research and I realized that countries like Kenya and Rwanda have cut out approval time by almost 30% just by digitizing the process of getting these permits and approval. So you can sit in the comfort of your house, you log onto the website, submit all of the documents you have, and then in about 2-3 weeks, or at most 14 working days, you get your approval. So my question to you is, can we try it in Nigeria? Is it possible for us to digitize this process, to reduce human interaction, that we don't have to queue at any Ministry of Lands to get any approval? Is it possible to go online and get our permits? Is it possible? Is it doable? Please lay it bare.
Thank you very much. Is it doable? Perfectly. Do we have the capacity? Perfectly. But do we have the political will? That's the question. If I follow what Prof said, yeah, one of the major things is engaging with, like Damola said, with government. As yeah, I think we should have a force by now. Even if the government is not, can't we as Reda put together that technology and say, please state, then you must think differently. Because if you wait for them before you get environment, approvals, budget, and we understand the way the system works, we can develop this thing and put it. If I wait closer, even to our own space, I talk to diaspora customers who maybe they've done properties abroad. They can do their titling in 2 days and they're done. And you explain to them, it might take almost 1 year to bring out your title and they feel you're being, do you understand? So is it possible effectively? And we have very smart, very, very smart technology, prop tech firms that can put these things out. We must, as a group, yeah, push that political will for this change to happen. Thank you.
As a follow-up question to that, how do you think digitizing these processes will help with the regulation, abiding with the rules, zoning and all that? Do you think it will help at all?
Definitely will. One of the things it will is, like my senior brother barrister said, instead of visiting like, how many, 14 or 12 different departments, it's from one place and you do everything. It's a harmonized payment. It's transparent, it's clear. You don't need to have to waste man time moving around different and then sorting and all. It will be cheaper. Yeah, in fact, what the government would see will be, yeah, you might see a shrink in the department, but you see an increase in your revenue because a lot of people will be willing to comply. That's it.
So the take home from this conversation is, Reda can start that journey. We can start that movement.
Yes, they can start.
Let's build the technology. Let's
And
employ
engage.
people and engage them, and then hand it over to the
Engage
government.
government.
And engage the government on it. Thank you very much. That's an assignment number one for us as REN, that we need to start this entire movement that we're talking about. Let's kick the ball in. The ball is in our court, and we can see how we can play catch up with other countries. Chicago, Germany, they're doing it. Cloud-based services. All you have to do is log on to a certain cloud, submit your documents, and in certain working days you have you don't need to see anybody. You don't need to know anybody. Nobody needs to know you. Nobody needs to see you for you to get your approval. There's nothing like greasing of palms and bribery and all that. It's a straight way to get your approval. Thank you very much, Mr. Adigwe, for that proposition. Thank you. I'll come to you now, Doctor. Let's hear from you. Let's be truthful. The zoning laws we have, it doesn't often match the speed of how Lagos is growing. Lagos is growing every day. Yet we have zoning laws that sometimes do not match that speed. So my question to you is, how should Lagos zoning rules change to support growth, to support affordability, to support livability? Is there a way to retweak these rules? Is there a way to manage it better, that it can match up to the fast-paced way that Lagos is growing?
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to say that things need to get a lot proactive than it's more reactive. You know, we live in a system where a lot of things are very reactive. You know, some zoning laws are as old as even before maybe I was given birth. So nobody has already reviewed those things. And like you said, population growth is growing at a rate that far exceeds the laws that we have. And another thing is that apart from not just being reactive, in every sane organization, every sane country, infrastructure precedes development. But we are in a sector or in a country where development precedes infrastructure. You know, a couple of weeks ago, the government published some estate that's been scammed and all. I laughed. Like, what about the Bale in Ikorodu that sold like 1,000 plots of land? Who did the layout of that place? How is it different from what a developer has done? And you're naming, why are you not naming all those places? You know, I grew up in some of these suburbs and I know how things happen. Nobody come and say anything. Government is not even interested. They act as if there's no layout for those places. And the layout is just specifically for where developers are working. So we need to get rid here. It's about government needs to be more proactive to really do their part. Where is the layout? How does it work? Is it current enough? How do we plug into it? It's about aligning everyone to the layout. It's not about brandishing some set of people as scam and all. And yes, this is where it's coming from. You see, when regulatory activities have been conflicted with revenue generation, then what we are experiencing is inevitable. Because we have mixed it up. I think the government has mixed it up. Because what the government does is what is layered on revenue generation, not enforcing the regulation itself. And that is why regulation starts from known developers. It doesn't start from places where there's going to be shade. So we need to get this right and for us to move forward. And let me just say this as I wrap up, and because we talked about government, there are other things that is at the feet of developers too, even as the body has read that. Now we talked about approval, being fast and all. Give a context here. In the UK, building permit takes within 6 to 13 weeks if there's a reference to what you want to do. If there's no reference, it can take longer. In the US, to review your application alone takes about 4 weeks. And the whole process itself takes 6 to 12 months. So, as developers, we plan better. We already know all the hiccups in the sector. You need to plan better. Do not put the cart before the horse. We need to get things right. Make sure your planning follows the regulation. As long as we are still proposing for it to change, but the way it is, make sure your planning goes with so that we don't get our fingers burnt. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause for Dr. That was such a wonderful advice for us. Get know that the government, they have their part to play, but as developers, let's do our due diligence. Ensure that your timing is right to avoid stories that touch, really. Because we all know that, yes, the approvals take time. It's a known fact already. while things are, we are pushing for things to get better, we as developers, let's also do our homework to ensure that we allow for that timing. Until things get better, we have to play by the rule. Thank you so very much, Dr., for that wonderful advice. I'll come back to you, Barrister Festus. I'd like to hear from you once again. Apart from enforcement, when we talk about incentives, do you think that incentives could encourage developers to follow these rules, to follow codes and the permit rules? Tax breaks, faster approval, or public recognition? Do you think it can motivate more developers to want to follow the rules that apply?
I think it was Femi Falana who said it yesterday, 2 days ago on television. There's nowhere in the world where subsidy is totally removed. Most especially, talking about the oil producing countries. So, the question is about the citizen benefits. We have been advocating for incentives for real estate developers. We cannot totally rule it out that we don't have black sheep. Every sector has black sheep. People are disgracing them. And that's why I call for professionalism, and that's why I call for self-regulation. I got a report last week of a young member of REDA who have collected money from about 10 people. And up to now, funded. And I have to call him and advise him before we do the needful. That is self-regulation. I wouldn't have been interested in getting involved if the REDA can set up a committee and deal with that person to teach the next person a lesson. Then we need incentive. Incentive could come in different ways. It could come in the area of waivers. I'm talking of us. What categories of houses is REDA, is Dr. Roland Iginoba building? What kind of housing is my brother Evan Home is building? That one is building for the rich. Roland is building for the poor. Roland cannot build for the poor if he doesn't get the right incentive. The incentive begins from the building approval. Why Evan Homes is paying millions of naira, Roland is paying little amount of money. Because Roland has a target, and the target is affordability, and the target is affordable housing. We have told them, stop using building approval as part of your revenue generation, internal revenue generation. You cannot tell us you love affordable housing, you want to do affordable housing, and they are paying bill everywhere. You can't work.
Exactly.
You must display political will. There's a political will in action in Nigeria. If you want to see it, go to Calabar, what do you call it? Lagos, Calabar Expressway. Have you gone there? You see political will in action. You see political will in action. Somebody is fighting all the money there. You don't have people are not getting money. And the houses and the roads are coming up. We call on the government. This is stakeholders forum. We're not here for nothing. We're here for business.
Yes.
We're calling on the government, the federal government, the state government of Nigeria, to build more political will in housing Nigerians. They should repeat what they are doing in Lagos Calabar Expressway. You can give incentive in the area of infrastructure. You provide secondary infrastructure. Happy to Heaven Homes. I saw him doing road from the beginning to the end. 2 weeks ago, I think it's Zanos Oluwatosin. I saw it online. Where they were doing, he said they were doing CSR in infrastructure, providing roads to their estates. Come, Tosin is going to collect the money from the buyer of their houses.
That is the truth.
Hey! Hey, Tosin. I'm sure Shoti is here. Heaven Homes is already collecting money for that road. So, talking of incentive, please help these developers. Please help their government. Provide incentive in the area of infrastructure. Provide incentive in the area of building approvals. And we will get incentive in the area of the building materials. I read it in the news yesterday that the Minister for Finance says the import tax for some product, they will remove it. Come on. Some of my people came for Africa International Housing Show from Turkey. They sent their product to Nigeria 1 month before the event. As at the time they got to Nigeria, the thing had not been cleared. What are we talking about? 75% of the products you are using for housing are imported.
Yeah.
Are you aware?
Yes, sir.
So, dear government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, focus not on how you can use housing industry to make money. The sector is one of the biggest employer of labor.
Yeah.
I love Professor Nubi. It's illegal housing to security, illegal housing to productivity. The man who slept under the bridge of Oshodi and the one who slept inside the house in Oshodi, who will do better in the office? Housing is key. You can use housing to arrest Boko Haram. Those guys, when you give them insight and they are working, by the time they finish by 6 p.m., they are tired. None of them want to go. Let me rest my case here.
I think it deserves a generous applause. What do you think, everyone? Thank you so very much, Barrister Festus. These tables you are shaking, sir.
Very, very correct. They know what I'm talking about.
Thank you very much. Let's come to you, Barrister.
This is the basic thing.
If you
They are
could
not really that difficult.
recommend just one practical reform. Let's imagine the Lagos State government members are seated in the room here.